So I have some really interesting information on what happened with Binance yesterday. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper with when they halted withdrawals and deposits, and also a little more on Kwon and his arrest. You're not going to believe what he was arrested for. It's just ridiculous. Plus a little more of what is happening with Deutsche Bank. There's some really interesting stuff. Let's dive right in. Let's go over to Deutsche Bank right now. So German Chancellor Scholz says that Deutsche Bank is very profitable. There is no reason for concern. This should be an alarm bell. Nobody should ever say, oh yeah, we're fine, don't worry about it, making a public statement like that. If they were really fine, they wouldn't be making statements like that. And this is really interesting. So Jim Cramer, he's also like the canary in the coal mine of, if he likes anything, sell it. If he hates it, buy it. Okay, this guy there's an inverse Cramer ETF that actually I think does really well. So it does the exact opposite of what he calls. Okay, so Jim Cramer says that Deutsche Bank is very profitable and is doing well. Wow, that's a huge red flag. And why is that a red flag? We had Luxembourg's leader, Jean-Claude Juncker, say that when it becomes serious, you have to lie. And he's talking about the banking structure, anything when it comes to banking to calm people's nerves, because they don't want a bank run. These guys don't want a bank run. The big boys, they want a bank run. They want to consolidate power. That's why you're seeing tons and tons of deposits into the big banks, while these smaller banks are having massive withdrawals. I'm going to get into that a little bit more as well. So I'm going to go over this graph right now. So I want you to look at this. These are unrealized losses on investment securities. What I want you to do when I put up this chart is look at 2008 and look at the very end, okay? So you had the global financial crisis in 2007, 2008. You can see the unrealized losses back then compared to now. This problem is so much worse, it's ridiculous. And that means the bailouts are going to be so much greater than you could ever imagine. I'm going to put up the chart right now. Okay, so now that you saw that scary chart, right? The very end of that, like right around here, I mean, the amount of unrealized losses are ridiculous. Moving on to Kwon. So he got arrested yesterday. And okay, so this is what happened. He got arrested because he had fake passports from Costa Rica, Belgium, as well as a Hawaiian driver's license. And yeah, so he was arrested because he had multiple forged documents. And, you know, he's a scammer. You shouldn't be surprised on that at all. Okay, so let's go over to Binance really quick. So Binance had stopped withdrawals and stopped deposits yesterday. And most people, here's what they said. They said, initial analysis indicates matching engine encountered a bug on a trailing stop order, a weird one, recovering. Estimated 30 to 120 minutes waiting for more precise ETA. So until they resume their deposits and withdrawals. Adam Cochran was like, wait a second, here's what he said. Right, a bug on matching with no specific notes, but pausing deposits and withdrawals as well. That doesn't sound great no matter how you declare its standards. That's sounding like balance mismatches. So we're going to see what happens in the future, because I know Binance is under a lot of pressure right now, especially in terms of the regulatory arena. But like what we saw like a couple months ago, we saw Binance have about $6 billion of withdrawals. They were fine. So I'm not trying to create any panic here, but it's really weird when they do say things like this, where it shouldn't have happened, you know what I mean? You should always be able to withdraw or deposit your coins. So as we say with our CT Club plus the YouTube channel, we tell people, take custody of your own coins, hold your private keys. If you need to use Binance or some other exchange, if you just have to do it, then trade and then take your coins right off so that you don't have to worry about anything like that, because you can always withdraw your coins with a hardware wallet. Okay, on to good news on the crypto space. El Salvador, let's go over to El Salvador. So they are eliminating all income and capital gains taxes on technology innovations such as software programming, coding, apps, and AI development. So that's going to attract a ton of people who are scared of the SEC, a ton of companies who are under pressure from the US government, and they're gonna fly overseas. They're gonna go, screw this place, I'm getting out of here. They're gonna go to the UAE, they're gonna go to El Salvador, they're gonna go to several different places around the world. That's a smart idea, guys, because the US government is in a bad case of power-hungry psychoticness. Speaking of the SEC, Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, are urging their UK and Canadian counterparts to impose stricter regulations on the crypto industry. Yes, they are hell-bent to bring their CBDC, of course. If you've ever watched Balaji and what he's talked about, this is exactly why these banks are consolidating power. It's to suck people into the large banks and have it impossible for people to leave, and then they have to use a CBDC. So lastly with that, 25 biggest US banks added $120 billion in deposits after Silicon Valley Bank failed. You know, keep in mind, Signature Bank wasn't even in trouble. They just literally shut it down. That was a crypto bank, by the way. So lots to cover. Next week is going to be a wild week, and I'm going to try to cover it all. In the meantime, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.